Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily for December 3rd, 2025. I'm Dave DuFour here with Es Baraheni. Coming up, the Thunder had a close one with the Warriors, but they moved to 21-1. We're going to talk about that. The Raptors get another big win. We're going to talk about Scottie Barnes, and we got James Edwards here to talk about the Knicks' weird loss to the Celtics. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the NBA Daily. I'm Dave DuFour. I'm here with Law Murray, and you might be wondering if you're watching on YouTube why my eyes are so red. It's because it's 1:30 in the morning Pacific time in California. Got a little bit of an emergency pod. I just happened to be awake and see the news, and so did Law Murray because he covers the Clippers. And apparently the Clippers and Chris Paul are parting ways. Now, Law, look, we don't have a lot of time here. I just want to get to the regular show and let you get to bed because I know that there's more to come on this. But this is weird. Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer. He was a Clipper for a very long time. It seemed like this was like a retirement tour year for him. But with the Clippers, like nothing can be normal, apparently.
I knew something was off when I was in Charlotte. Chris is from North Carolina. He gets up first thing that morning. It's a Saturday, and he basically posts something that suggests that he's retiring, right? And the thing is, I remember back in the offseason when he was signed, he said, "Hey, don't retire me yet. I'm in the moment. I'm stacking days, etc." They win that game. James has 55. They don't let Chris talk. They hustle to the bus. They go to Cleveland. And the thought was he was going to talk when he gets to Los Angeles. Well, you get to Los Angeles, it's a Lakers home game on national TV. They get blown out. Chris not available. They go home to Intuit Dome. They have a tribute video for Chris. He waves and acknowledges, hey, this is the last ride, if you want to call it that. He's not made available because they blow a 16-point lead to the Grizzlies. The next night they play the Mavericks, their last game before this road trip that they're currently on. And we got the NBA schedule that night because the NBA group play was over. So we got these missing games from the schedule that we always get. They lose that game to the Mavericks. Chris is not made available. They're about to go and not play their next home game until December 15th, which is a very interesting day for those who love trade machines. Let's get to that later. They get blown out in Miami, trailed by as many as 38 points. Chris was one of the few guys who didn't play in the fourth quarter of that game. He hits a three-pointer to cut the lead to 33. I think people noticed that in the third quarter. James Harden got benched early in that third quarter. And now you have Chris putting this out on Instagram at 2:40 in the morning Atlanta time before they're supposed to play that night. And this is as unceremonious as it gets. I think the word unceremonious might have to be redefined. And Chris will notice that redefinition because he posted Sunday before the team went on this road trip to Miami, the definition of the word leeway. He must have just Googled it, got what he got. Thankfully, he did not choose the AI-generated version. He got the Oxford Dictionary version. He posted a screenshot of that. And again, Chris has not spoken to the media, has not been allowed to be available to the media. I mean, in at least 2 weeks, I got to see him on the road trip. I got to, shake his hand and kind of run into him. But we all thought that he was supposed to, address this by now. It appears that the next time Chris Paul addresses the media, it will not be a member of the LA Clippers.
All right, this is crazy. It's on the heels of, the weird James Harden post-game comments the other day. I mean, it's one thing after another here with the Clippers. I mean, I don't know. This season's done for them. I don't really know quite how to put it. I guess for Chris Paul, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just is a disrespectful thing. This is a sad thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that exact word. Chris could have just retired before the season and not come back to the Clippers for all that. You know what I mean? Like, he came back because his team has a chance to do something special, and him being a part of it, that would be pretty cool. Intuit Dome is having All-Star Weekend, et cetera. This team was inspiring last year. It is the exact opposite of that this year. Chris's family is here. He played for this organization. There's still people in this organization. Like, Lawrence Frank is the president of basketball operations. He was on the bench when Chris was here. Tyronn Lue is the head coach. He was on the bench when Chris was here. Like, Steve Ballmer is the chairman, the owner of the organization. He became
There's people behind the scenes and the ops that were with Chris before he got to the Clippers that came out there with him. I mean, this is Chris Paul runs through that organization. I mean, from the start, I mean, in and out of it. And this is one of the more disrespectful things I can remember a team doing to a player, period.
Here's the thing.
Especially, I mean, come on, man.
Because it's the Clippers, it is very disrespectful. And we've seen it before. A lot of people are thinking of Blake Griffin today, you know, when Chris was traded. Man.
Oh, yeah.
In the 2017 offseason, what happened? Like, Blake signs his contract extension when he could have left. And, you know, they did everything they could to not just sign him and extend him. You know, I don't know if it was an extension. I'm pretty sure he was an unrestricted free agent. Semantics aside, like, he was traded in the middle of the night after hitting a game-winning shot to Detroit. And you know, it's been weird ever since there. So, I mean, you all remember Emoji Gate. Emoji Gate was crazy, but at least that happened at a decent hour. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, speaking of Law, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, guys. Go and read Law today over at The Athletic. He's gonna have more on this. Obviously, more to come. I mean, the Clippers are a mess, and you know it's like a train wreck. We're all gonna watch it, right? Yeah. Anyway, now on to the regular show. Good morning, everybody. What's up, S?
What's up? Hello.
Late night for us. Late night for everybody because for some reason they're starting these Tuesday night games on Peacock.
11 p.m. You know,
11 p.m. Eastern.
I like Peacock a lot. I like NBC. They're doing a really great job out there. Shout out to them. The 11 p.m. games. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Those games are beautiful, by the way. They look really, really great on TV. I don't know what they're doing with HDR and their sports, but they figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect. Not perfect. The Thunder last night in the third quarter. And let me tell you, S and I thought this game was over at halftime.
I personally did. Yes, absolutely.
We were getting ready to record. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my notes together. And I look up and all of a sudden, Pat Spencer has just gone nuts. The Warriors don't have Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's out with a knee injury. Like, he has to leave this game halfway through.
Yeah.
And the plucky Warriors, with even Draymond Green on the bench, just absolutely gave the Thunder as much fight as we've seen anybody give them in quite a while. I mean, Seth Curry, they just signed him off the street. Seth Curry was just signed off the street. He came off the bench and he goes for 14. 6 or 7 from the field. He looked like Steph, man. Draymond hit a 3, and that was when I really got scared. I was like,
he hit 3 threes. I saw it in the fourth quarter. I was like, this might be it. You know,
that 3 he hit in the fourth when he finally came back after the bench had put together that great run at the end of the third quarter. That was the one. Because look, man, it's all fun and games until Draymond's hitting 3s, and then all of a sudden, that's when things start to happen. But look, the Thunder down the stretch, they took over the game. Like it never really felt in doubt. Even when the Warriors had fought back and took the lead, I didn't think that the Thunder were going to blow this game. I mean, Shea was able to
he was unstoppable in the fourth,
lock in. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have a single guy that could guard him. Every time they sent the double, he found the guy. Jalen Williams would find the next guy and they'd hit a big shot. So the Thunder take care of business. They moved to 21-1. It was not easy. It gets interesting again, guys, at 24-1, which may coincide with an NBA Cup game. We're gonna,
yeah. Look, I mean, I can break it down for you really quickly. Look, 24-1. The only team that has started 24-1 or better is the 2015-2016 Golden State Warriors. When they get to that, they play Dallas next, which I think is a win. Utah, definitely a win. Phoenix in that NBA Cup quarters game, that is for 24-1. That gets a little bit interesting. I think Phoenix is a really competitive team. They played them competitive. Probably a win without Devin Booker, right? So we'll see. They might get the record in the semifinals of the NBA Cup.
All right, I want to talk about your Raptors, S. You
Sure.
saw them in person last night. Big win, I think, actually, over the Trailblazers. Anytime an East team beats a West team, it's kind of a big deal. And Portland got out to such a good start that I thought that this was the sort of game that I'd like to see the Raptors come back and win. You know, they're a young team. They're playing at home. Like, they should win this. Talk to me about the Raptors, man. Do you believe, like, is this real? They're a playoff team. I think you were right about that, by the way.
Look, I was pretty high on them.
You were right.
Yeah.
If I haven't said it enough, you were right. But is that the baseline? Is it like they're the 6 seed, they're the 5 seed? That's it?
You know, I'll say this, Dave. I don't do this to be right. I do this to have fun. No, I'm kidding. No, I predicted 45 plus wins. We'll see if they get to that mark. But I think they're well on pace. If you look at the way that they're playing and the way that their stars are playing, truthfully, it makes it so that they can definitely get to that point, especially because, man, Scottie Barnes just looks like he's taken another leap in his career. Not only defensively, he obviously won Defensive Player of the Month for whatever that means, which is part of the thing players get awarded for now.
I mean, if you win Defensive Player of the Month every month, you probably would win Defensive Player of the Year. So it has to mean something.
Yes. He is well on pace. But no, he's looked like a all defense level player. The way that he is basically, I don't know, top 5 in deflections at this point. One of the only guy in the NBA to have 30 plus steals and 30 plus blocks. He's top 10 in defensive miles traveled. These are just a couple of the numbers that I was looking at earlier today to show how good he is on the defensive side of the floor. But he's also taken a step offensively. I hate the cliche, the game is slowed down, but really, truthfully, the game has slowed down for him. Like, he is more assertive. He's figuring out what kind of player he wants to be. He's not necessarily forcing a bunch of 3-point and mid-range shots. He's really reading what the defense is kind of giving to him at that point. And I thought he did a great job against Portland. He's a lot better when he's physical, right? This is something we've talked about with Paolo Banchero before in the past, with Jalen Johnson, with all these guys who have like unique physical tools. The more powerful and strong of a player you are, the more it's at your advantage to play physically. And Scottie, I think, has figured that out. So he's looking like an all-star this year, and the Raptors look good because of it.
He's such a quick decision maker now. I mean, you see that with the passing and the playmaking, especially. I mean, you look at the assist numbers. I mean, they do kind of translate here to what you see as far as just him reading the floor and the game slowing down. Like, it's a cliche for a reason. It's a real thing. Like, he's processing.
It is a real thing,
right? He knows the beats of the song, right? He can play it by memory now. He's 100%. Not just always, where am I supposed to go? You know, it's the development process of players is not linear, and that doesn't work for us all the time. But this guy, you know, if he had not had that down year, imagine where he'd be. Right. I don't know if he would have found what he's got now. I don't know. Like, you never know with a player, but there were a lot of people ready to give up on him after that year.
No, I think a lot of what last year was for him, and he said this to me when I've asked him about it. He said this to the media when they've asked him about it. A lot of it was experimentation. Like, he went through months where he would try to take 10 threes a game, and he would go through a month where he would take like 15 mid-range shots and not even look at the basket. Or a lot of it was like, hey, what kind of player am I? And I think he's come into this season realizing, like, hey, I know what I'm good at. I know what I have near me, too, because Brandon Ingram being there is a big part of this. But he's just figured out what he is in the NBA now, and he's just excelling at it. Yeah, and again, the coaching staff there are doing a great job. Guys, stick around. We got James Edwards. We're going to talk about how the Knicks lost a weird game for them. Every single time I watch a Knicks game, I'm not sure what I'm going to get. I know that if they score a lot, they're going to win. But what happens on the nights when, like, I don't know, the shots stop dropping? You know, they started the game last night against the Celtics super hot. And we got James Edwards here because he was there to witness it. And James, when the Celtics got their legs under him and figured out, like, how to defend,
turn the water off a little bit. It felt like this Knicks team just didn't know what to do. They didn't have anything to fall back on. And I am just lost trying to figure out who are the New York Knicks? What is their identity? What's their calling card?
No, I think that's a fair question. This loss snapped a 4-game winning streak in which a lot of us thought that they had figured things out defensively. The on-ball defense had been better. Josh Hart had really stepped up in that regard. Deuce McBride had really stepped up in that regard. The communication seemed better. And then from about the end of the first to the midway point of the third, it was as bad as it's been for them. They were just a step slow defensively. The Celtics shot 80% on twos by the end of the third quarter. That's how much they were shooting, 80% on twos going into the fourth. The Knicks, I think, yes, defensively they're inconsistent. Specifically on the road, they really have struggled. To me, the game turned offensively, and let me explain. They came out of the gates humming. The ball was moving. Guys were hitting shots. They were defending, right? Like we always hear the offense, like when guys make shots, they defend a little bit better.
Right.
And then it felt like Towns was getting a little frustrated with Hugo Sanchez and KAT and Kita. Wait, did I say his name right?
KAT. You mean Hugo Gonzalez, right?
Hugo Sanchez. That's a soccer player. Sorry, Hugo Gonzalez.
Soccer player, yeah.
Hugo Gonzalez and Keita, and to me, he was just trying to, like, whether it was the officials or whether he was tired of them being physical with him. He really forced a lot of shots that got them out of a funk. Like there was one play I remember. He's posting up. Hugo comes over to help. Towns tries to get through it, draw a foul or score, and Josh Hart, who's 3 for 3 at this point in the game from 3, is wide open right next to him on the wing, and he didn't kick it out to turn over. It goes the other way. And to me, like that was this kind of the turning point in the game. It was a team that was doing everything right, and then it just felt like I don't want to say egos got in the way, but there was just frustration there that led to them getting out of what was working. So it was a weird game. It's the best of the Knicks. It was the worst of the Knicks, right? And Boston now is a little too good for to be able to overcome such a hole, even though they did it in the playoffs last year. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. But like, I want to touch on the fact that you mentioned multiple options for them offensively. And like, truthfully, we're talking about identity and the Knicks figuring it out. That's kind of baked into this last month or so of what we thought the Knicks would do in the first place, right? With Mike Brown, it was all about like, hey, we got to rip this thing down to the studs, figure out what we are, right? What we are as a group. And you see Karl Anthony Towns working more as an offensive hub. You see them playing around with Josh Hart more as an initiator coming off the bench, but now also starting. You see Jalen Brunson working off ball more. You see Mikal Bridges bringing the ball up more. Like the structure is there for them trying to be different. Do you kind of give them that grace period, even though they have championship aspirations and contending aspirations, et cetera, of like, this is clearly a team that's still trying to figure out who they are compared to what they have?
Yeah, I definitely do think there should be somewhat of a grace period. Are we approaching that period? I think so. Like we're almost 20 games in. There's been inconsistency offensively. Like, again, there's still a lot of basketball to be played. And what is it? Rome wasn't built in a night. Is that the right one? I'm sorry.
Rome wasn't built in a day,
enough.
But hard
Rome
to build
wasn't
at night
day.
back then.
Yeah, hard to build at night.
Home Depot with lights.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. So yeah, like you would think that as things go, like they're going to be more consistent offensively. And with that said, like Jalen isn't going to play this bad again, right? Like offensively, we just saw something from him we don't normally see. But what I will say is, how far can you go with an offensive identity? Because if they have an identity right now, it's on the offensive end.
Totally. Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
They have guys that can score. They can do a multitude of things. They're shooting more threes now. They're making threes. What happens, as we talked about off camera, when shots don't fall? Do you have something to fall back on? And that's why I think, like, in most cases, when we look at the best teams in the league over the last few years, like they were good defensive teams.
Right.
And I'm not ready to say that the Knicks are there yet, right? Like it felt like they were getting there. I wrote a piece that they felt like they were turning a corner after they beat the Raptors. And then they kind of, again, just dropped back to the inconsistency on that end of the floor. So it's a weird team right now that I think is, and I want to take a step back too. I think part of why they made the coaching change is to lean into the offense a bit more, right? Like
100%. Yes.
It was, they knew that there was going to be, they're not going to be a great defensive team. They're just not with some of the key pieces they have that are pivotal to how they're going to play, right?
Right.
But they felt like they could get more from the offense because when they played against top 10 defenses last year, or aggressive defenses, or defenses that had an athletic four they could put on Towns and a center on Hart, they didn't look like a top offense despite finishing the season with the 5th best offensive rating. I don't think anybody who watched the Knicks felt like that was the 5th best offense in basketball consistently.
Right.
So that's part of the change, right? To be able to have a little bit more diversity, to not be able to get bogged down by those defenses. So I agree with you that like they're still searching for an identity, but I think they want offense to be the identity. I just wonder how far that takes you in the NBA when your aspirations are NBA championship.
Well, their road record is now 3-6. And the adage defense travels actually is real. Like we have the data that backs this up. Teams don't shoot as well on the road, right? Role players don't shoot as well on the road. This is why you need to be able to defend. Like, can they turn the screws up in crunch time? Like, what's their best 5-man lineup if you need to get a stop? I mean, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, those are going to be 2 problem spots for you, no matter what. And they're going to be in every lineup. But how do you cover for those guys, especially Jalen Brunson? I mean, we watched what the Celtics did to him, especially in that second quarter when Brunson was out there with a lot of those bench guys. And that's what it's going to look like in the playoffs. I saw Kevin Durant said it's a pick me sport now, or it's a pick on sport now. You go and pick on a guy. And we watched Jalen Brunson get picked on quite a bit. They've got to figure that out. And I mean, whatever the offense is, if they're scoring, 150 a game, okay, they don't have to defend, but they're not doing that. So, what does it look like? Like, do they have that guy or those guys on the roster? Or is this a team that's going to be looking to maybe upgrade?
I mean, I think they hope they do, right? Like OG Anunoby's been out, and
right.
You make the case he's the best defensive player, but this was the thing last year too, when they had OG, they had McHale. Like 2 as good of wing defenders as you can get, right? And then I think Josh Hart has very much improved over the last few weeks as a defender. Miles McBride can guard on the ball, but he's also smaller, right? So, yeah, like I think that in theory they have the best that they can do is insulate those 2 with McHale, with OG, with a Hart and a Deuce, right? But it's not just one guy that's eligible to be picked on, it's 2. And that's just going to be something that I don't know if it's possible to get sorted out, right? But they're gonna if Mike Brown's gonna have to find a way to at least like experiment with enough stuff to see if it's possible.
If you look at like the landscape of the Eastern Conference right now, and I feel like we've asked this question a bunch, but like Cleveland is sort of stumbling at this point. They're injured. They've dealt with a couple of injuries, but they're also going through their own quote unquote identity crisis. Detroit is obviously playing very well, but then there's like the middle of the Eastern Conference. There's a bunch of teams grouped there. The Knicks obviously have a tremendous opportunity here because they know that they could go toe to toe with any of these teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the East, do you still peg them as the best team in the Eastern Conference moving forward?
I mean, I think they have the highest upside, right? Like, I don't want to disrespect the teams that are above them because they've played the same teams. But, I mean, they have 1 top 10 player, 2 top 25 players, and 4 or 5 top 75, 80 players, right? So I think their upside is the highest. I will say that I still wonder if all the pieces work, right? Like, I think we forget that Detroit series was very close.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was separated by like 5 points.
Yep.
They did what they had to do in Boston, right? Not taking away from them, but they were down big multiple times. That could have easily went the other way, right? And then to their credit, if Halliburton doesn't hit the craziest shot I've ever seen, maybe they're in the NBA Finals too, right? So there is. It's not like this team was picture perfect on its way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like there were legitimate concerns that clearly they felt like needed to be addressed because they switched their coach. Do I think that, well, I think Mike Brown has done a good job. Do I think that was all that needed to be done to rectify, like, or to get over the hump and win an NBA? Like, they're not trying to just get to the finals. They're trying to win an NBA championship, right? Like, do I think that, like, that was it? That's all that needed to be done to get there? I don't. But I certainly think that, like, when you just look at what they're capable of doing, right? Like Mikal can have those. Mikal's capable of going off, as we saw in the fourth quarter. We know Jalen Brunson, pound for pound, might be the best scorer in basketball. We know Karl Anthony Towns is a tremendous shooting big man. We know OG Anunoby is one of the best three-point shooters in basketball, right? Josh Hart is, I mean, shit, the guy's shooting like 45% from three over the last month and some change.
It's been absurd. Yeah.
Deuce McBride, too. Like, their upside, like, they just have guys that can score the basketball and guys that can like take over a game when a guy's not going, right? So you have to give them that built-in kind of like
puncher's right? If you will.
Yeah,
like they can knock you out. Yeah, right. Absolutely. But they can
especially
get knocked out
comparing
too.
them to the teams in the East. Yes, exactly. Yeah. They can get knocked out too.
Yeah.
I think what it goes down to, I don't know if any team in the East scares any team in the West. And what Definitely I mean by that is, like,
particularly one team in the West.
Well, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But I think, like, even if you look at, like, so we're talking about the Knicks, like, again, they can be beat. They're capable of being a very bad defensive team. The Pistons are a tremendous team. Like, they play their ass off. They defend at a high level. But when you get into a playoff series, is it going to bite them that they don't have another guy that can consistently create and score his own shot, right? Like, they're still missing that second guy. Like, it might not matter, right? But we tend to see in the playoffs that stuff does matter. And then you look again, Cleveland, like, nobody's taking Cleveland seriously because they don't win in the playoffs. Atlanta, are they better with Trae Young or without Trae Young, right? Like, the Raptors, they don't shoot enough threes. They, like, their best players all operate the best in the same area of the floor. So I think the door is open for the Knicks again to get to the Eastern Conference Finals because they have the firepower and they have one of the best players in the world. But I also think, like you guys said, like, they can put up stinkers too, right? They're not immune to stinkers. And I would call tonight, even though they ended up fighting back, probably the most bizarre loss they've had. It was a bizarre loss. It was bizarre.
The Boston Celtics, though, had an incredible game, particularly Jalen Brown, who had his third 40-point game of the season. His scoring this year has been absurd. He's been getting into his mid-range bag at will. I mean, he's number one in the NBA right now in mid-range efficiency, which is crazy to say. Like, he's shooting better than Kevin Durant, than SGA, than Ingram, than any of those guys in the mid-range area. What did you see from him tonight? Because it feels like he is unstoppable right now.
Yeah, it feels like a guy who's in control. His scoring has taken a major uptick. I even think, like, his processing, right? Like, I think there's just a patience about him. The handle's still a little iffy, right? Like, I think he's probably happy OG's out. But, like, I definitely think, like, the guy's just seeing the game. I think the game's slowing down for him. I think the guy's seeing just the next play, right? Or the next, not just like what's in front of him, but what's going to happen next. Yeah, I think he's really turned the corner with his processing. And yeah, the Celtics, they leaning into that small ball lineup. I mean, if Mano is going to shoot like that, like, that's great for them. If Jordan Walsh is going to be like their Josh Hart, right? Like, that's great for them. If Derek White's going to keep being Derek White and Pritchard, and they can get Hauser to get back to shooting how he was, like, they're not like a team that I think has Eastern Conference Finals potential, but, like, I feel pretty good about them being a playoff team. Yeah, like, I feel like I don't worry about them if they're going to make the playoffs or not, assuming health is in their favor.
Very tough first round out type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. And then listen, and if there's a world Tatum's back by then, It sounds like so.
That we believe Celtics. Is that what we're saying here?
I mean, listen. I've seen Isaiah Thomas, the not Zeke. What do they call
Zeke?
IT? Not yeah. Wasn't there like a nickname? Not Zeke,
Baby
but,
Zeke. I don't know. To be honest,
it was like somebody had a good one, but yeah. I mean,
maybe
listen,
we need. Let's call a Pistons writer, and maybe they'll know.
No. I meant
different Isaiah. Okay,
No, he's talking about the
Isaiah
Thomas.
Okay, I was like,
there was like a Zeke-esque nickname for him that I can't remember.
King in the
good,
Fourth and Pizza Guy are the only basketball reference nicknames for
Pizza Guy.
Yeah,
Pizza
I have no
Guy.
idea where that's more of a Alex
Because he
Spears
delivers.
question.
Maybe
Oh, there
I
you
don't know.
go.
Oh,
There you go. I like that.
Always delivering for us, James Edwards. You working on anything this week? Got anything big coming out?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to write on just the inside the most bizarre loss of the season. Just kind of guys' thoughts on how they went from essentially looking like they were bored at playing so well to playing, so they decided to play as terrible as possible, and just all the craziness that happened there. And then later on this week, Mike Brown. I'm writing a story on how Mike Brown is kind of very much pushed for collaboration with this group, and the players talking about how the open door policy and how when there's things that they feel like that he presents to them and then they do go through it and there's things that need to be tweaked, he's very open to maneuvering things to help to the players. So just a little look on just how he's trying to implement his philosophies and beliefs by letting these guys dictate what they do, right? Like it's not a dictatorship.
James, one more question for you. Have the Knicks made you respect the cup?
I'll never respect the cup, man.
Oh, come on, man.
Listen.
How do you feel? Look, quarterfinals
is conflicted,
matchups.
by the way. He's conflicted because it's, do we want the Raptors in Vegas or do we want James Edwards in Vegas? Because it really is.
It's a tough question. You're right. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if James Edwards goes to Vegas, that trip ends with a stop in Indianapolis. So I'd be on the road for like 12 days. I don't know if, like, would I like some 67-degree weather right now? Like, sure. Selfishly, do I want to fly across the country just to so a team can raise a banner because they beat a couple teams before December?
Hey, man,
I don't know, man.
Ariel Huckporty can get an extra $500K, you know?
I hope those guys, if they win, I hope those guys get looked out by their richer teammates. But I still think that this cup is dumb until they add the G League teams or.
Wow.
And that's the thing, right? Like they want to make it like soccer. Well, Tottenham plays the 5th division team in England in the FA Cup.
This is what I told Dave. I said they need to start bringing in Real Madrid. And
okay, it's not going to happen with the international teams, but I like this idea of the G League teams. And I don't know, man, NIL money's crazy. What if you threw some college teams in there just so we could get that debate out of the way?
That would be
so
insane.
those guys can get absolutely wrecked. Absolutely wrecked.
Think of the Lakers playing in Grand Rapids.
Take a G League team and drop them in the NCAA tournament and watch what happens. It's a wrap. It's over, buddy.
The 905 right now, undefeated. Just letting you know.
Raptors 905 would be national champions for 4 years straight.
Michigan State would beat the Wizards right now. So.
Wow. The Wizards beat the Bucks last night or the night before last, so I'm not sure. So,
that's fair.
Anyway,
the Bucks are another story. But yeah.
The Knicks will make you respect the cup, James. I promise it.
Go read James Edwards over at The Athletic. Thank you to James for hanging out. Thanks to Es Baraheni. I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.